Time for your weekly dose of pop culture
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. I am your host, Kathy, along with,
I'm Kenny.
and we are Kathy and Kenny, and we hang out Saturday nights and explain pop culture. So thank you so much for hanging out with
Yes,
us.
thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
And what we try to do is kind of go with a theme, and we pick a theme each week. And I know that next Saturday is, in fact, Juneteenth, but it's also the day before Father's Day. So I think our theme next Saturday will be will be
We're doing a
to,
Father's Day show.
for the fathers, right?
For the
We'll do the
fathers.
Father's Day show. So we wanted to take some time this show to kind of talk a little bit Juneteenth and explaining what it is, what it's about. I know for myself, I serve on a Juneteenth committee that plans events for the local community, but with the pandemic and with things being shut down and not quite sure whether we would be able to meet and greet live, our committee has kind of been inactive. So whereas for 18 years they've been doing, not 18, over 20 years, they've actually been doing a celebration, but there have been other people in the community to kind of pick it up, and I believe they are planning to do something, at least in Statesville, North Carolina, next Saturday, because next Saturday is actually June 19th, and even though the celebration is called Juneteenth, it doesn't always fall on the Saturday, at least doesn't fall on the 19th,
And
and
this year
that's
does, yeah.
usually it's the closest Saturday to the 19th that they celebrate Juneteenth. So, and it's really interesting too because had you mentioned Juneteenth to people, even 5, 10 years ago, one of the things that we would do during that celebration is kind of a reenactment of kind of why it is this celebration. And I'm doing all the talking, so I'll let you talk.
No. You're doing fine. I'm the sidekick
Well,
today.
before I go into the history lesson, and and again, I think I posted an Instagram story just saying, as far as celebrating Juneteenth, because Black history is American history, and I got no time for like the political and I, that, whatever this new label is, critical race theory. But if it's
Yeah,
history, it's
don't.
history.
Yeah,
If it
it's
happened,
history.
don't we need to understand it, learn from it, and also, be better because of it? Hello to Lisa, our
Hey,
cousin
cousin
out
Lisa.
there. Hey, thanks for joining us. Oh, Dawn.
Dawn's
Hey,
here. Yeah.
let
Hey, hi, Dawn.
freedom ring. That's right.
Let freedom ring, Dawn. You're right. You're absolutely right. Um.
And
So. So good.
and it,
So go ahead.
okay, no, I just, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Again, I'm not getting mired in the political, but I feel so thankful too, having been born and raised in Philadelphia, but actually kind of growing up and coming of age in Lawnside. I think Lawnside, New Jersey, which I consider a extreme privilege. Hey, family, our
Hey, Dad.
dad who is listening. Um, I really feel like it was kind of important in just my growing and understanding and learning, especially about history, because even though we kind of went to school and middle school in Lawnside, it was great because Lawnside, New Jersey is actually a town. And if you Google it, go ahead, I dare you, Lawnside, New Jersey. It was one of the first all black municipalities in this country, and it actually started as a stop on the Underground Railroad, which I think is just so cool and so awesome. And
Originally called
again,
Freehaven, and then called Snow Hill, and then called Lawnside.
there you go. So, but again, that rich history is something that maybe living in Philadelphia, we might not have even been exposed to had we not actually had the opportunity to live in Lawnside, go to that school, learn a little bit about the history. And I think I mentioned it on this show before that I was kind of, when we were watching Harriet. Did you see Harriet? You didn't see Harriet, did you? Oh my goodness. And I know people get flack because an English actress played Harriet Tubman. But again, I don't even get me on this soapbox
Yeah, don't
either,
don't yeah, don't judge
because
me.
the whole idea of being an actor is that you can
You
go
can't do other
beyond your
things.
range and beyond your reach. So all those people who want to naysay, to me, you know what? Rock Hudson was an incredible actor because he always played these romantic leading men, and that, as you know, wasn't his necessary life or story. So
Yeah,
that's acting. So just cut it out.
yeah.
So, but Cynthia, I think Irvo or Irvo, I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I'm sorry. But
Neil
anyway,
Patrick
she killed
Harris.
it in Harriet. So I just want to throw that out there. But but in watching it, and one of the places that she went to was Philadelphia, and one of the people who helped her was William Steele. And again, living and growing up in Lawnside, we actually knew Steeles, like descendants of these people who were abolitionists who helped
Yes.
in the Underground Railroad and in that part of American history. So just the Mott House, just tons of things, just tons of history that was within that town, and again within our reach because we live there. So when I hear about and again, I think America is getting to hear about Tulsa, and that's not even new to me
No.
because years ago, and we actually had a. Now this is going to take you back. VHS. Somebody.
Oh,
I didn't go back to Betamax, but I
you
know
didn't
there
go
was
back
a
to Betamax.
VHS
No,
tape
no,
here we
no.
had at the house one time that told all about the story of Black Wall Street, which again, because it wasn't a part of curriculum, students didn't learn it, didn't know it. And again, we've always been fed just these little pieces and little glimpses of history. So we're not getting a full picture.
Well,
You
there's a
always hear about the founding fathers and being born and raised in Philadelphia. I mean, the Liberty Bell and all those stories, but you don't, you weren't
well,
really exposed to.
well, there's a lot of things that are not being taught in schools today
Mhm.
about the full American history because Black history is American history, like you said before.
Mhm.
For example, my daughter Mackenzie called me one day and she goes, "Dad, um, thanks to you, I was the only one in the class that knew a fact and history." And I'm like, "Why? What happened?" She goes, "No one in my class knew who Emmett Till was."
Oh wow.
And I'm
Mhm.
like, really? She goes, no. The teacher asked about it, and I was the only one who knew the story of Emmett Till. And I'm like, because I teach the girls, and I teach, all my kids like different things about Black history. Um, and different things that happened in history. It's like when I watched The Help with them the first time, even though I know you don't like the movie too much, but one
Oh,
of the
don't
things
get me
is
started on the
yeah,
help.
no, I'm not going to get you started on The Help, but one of the things is it was a good learning lesson to teach the girls because they couldn't understand why the maids couldn't use the bathroom,
Oh
and I
wow.
had to explain that to them. When I watched it, was very young. They were very young, and then we took them to see Hidden Figures.
Hmm.
I took them to see Hidden Figures, and it was cool because me and a friend of mine took our kids to go see Hidden Figures, and she took her daughter, and I took the three girls, and it was one of these things you don't hear about and don't know about in history. Now,
No,
for
I
those who don't know,
again, it
that
was that movie was education for me as well
yes,
because.
it was education for me as well too.
Hmm.
Now, for those who don't know about Juneteenth, here's the story of Juneteenth because a lot of people who don't understand and don't know.
Hmm.
Um, for those who don't know about Juneteenth, in 1862, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which technically freed all the slaves. Um, I
And that
guess
part most people do know.
that part
They
people
do
know.
know the Emancipation
And I guess back in
Proclamation.
those days, news traveled slow, but
Oh
not
yeah.
this slow. But not this slow. Because in 1862, he signed this order to free the slaves.
Right. But it didn't take effect
1865
until January 1st,
of 1863.
1863. Okay.
But in 1865, And June 19th of 1865 was when the last slaves were actually freed. And a
And
fight
that
had to
only
ensue
happened
on it.
because, again, Colonel, is it Granger, came down to Galveston, Texas,
Yes.
where, again, some of the last slaves that didn't know about the proclamation got the information about being free. And I know one of the things that we would do as part of our Juneteenth celebration is kind of like a reenactment of that particular moment in time. And so so again, once the slaves found out they were free, and again, what happened? Some of them did go to other parts of the country. Some of them, again, stayed on and worked as like sharecroppers, sharing in the wealth. But and I think we were learning about Tulsa 2 or so weeks ago from the survivors of that massacre, but there were other places, Rosewood, other things. I mean, throughout the history of this country that haven't been terribly pretty. And again, part of that is if you got people and you're oppressing them, and if
I
your
mean, and you're
economic systems are built on that, why are you gonna let them?
and you're,
Why are you
you're
gonna
and you're
let them go
talking
be free?
and you're talking about events of mass murder, really that was done all the way up to the 80s when you're talking about Move in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So you're talking about different events of mass murder that happened during all this time.
Right.
So
So the quest for freedom isn't just this idea that might belong to other countries, and it's been very a part of America's quest for freedom. And I think in our talking about songs of freedom, well, again, for the slaves, it started, I guess, originally with some of the hymns and songs that they sang, even as they worked in the fields, weren't just about singing and even praising God, because they were actually given directions
yes,
and giving instructions about what was going to happen
what was going to happen and
on
how to
the
do? Yeah,
Underground Railroad. So
yeah.
their
Look at that
songs of
comment that
freedom
Dion put on there.
also had meaning. Oh, there we go, from Dion. The Moody family that owned most of the land on Galveston Island kept the information from the slaves, because again, you got all this free labor. Why you gonna
Yeah.
tell them they free?
I got free labor. Wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. Shh, shh,
you
shh.
know,
Don't tell
they'd be
them.
like, "Hey, we
Don't
can
tell
wear the
them
cotton. We
nothing.
ain't picking it." I'm sorry.
We got free labor.
I'm just gonna be, yeah, free labor.
And then,
So
then,
so
then,
okay,
then the
so
general showed up, and the guy Moody was probably like, "Well, why you gonna mess up my deal? Like, why you blocking me, dog? Seriously, seriously.
so, but again, I mean, we laugh, but that's because again, it's a pop culture show. We don't mean to get too heavy, but we did want to share some of that information with you so you understand, or this idea of
What is
Juneteenth
June? Because a lot of people,
is,
especially up north, don't know what Juneteenth is. A lot of people don't
yeah.
know.
And
So
again, for the longest time, I don't think I didn't know about it till I was actually here in Statesville and a part of the celebration, and having gone through it and got to see the reenactment to get an understanding of it. It wasn't in any history book that I read in high school or in college.
no,
So
no, no, no. There's
it's
a
some
lot of
things
history,
you don't know. And
and
again,
and
had it not been for our parents having like that copy of that videotape, talking about Black Wall Street, and that was, I think that video was made in the early '80s, because I know
right.
my dad had it for like
Well,
forever,
it was on,
but
it
we
was
can't
it was on,
find
it was
it.
on it was on VHS.
It was on
So
VHS, right?
so it wasn't made in the 90s. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there
Well,
like
hey, at
that.
least it wasn't reel to reel, because
Yeah, true, true that, true that.
because
Now I'll
can
be
you
honest with you.
imagine though? Like, I mean, I remember when you used to watch movies, and well, yeah, you should remember this in school. We had the reel to
I I
reel,
do
and they
I do
put it.
not I do not recall being that old.
Oh, come on, you
I do
never
not
saw.
recall ever watching a reel to reel movie.
I am not. I am not crazy. And you went to Haddon Heights High School, and I know they showed
do
some
not. I
movies
do
on
not
reel to
recall. I
reel.
do not recall this incident
And
that you
if
talk about.
not
That you
at
talk
Haddon
of.
Heights, I know they had it at ILC.
No, I do not recall what you were
Although,
talking of.
tell the truth. Do you tell people that you went to a school called ILC?
Yes, I do actually. I do
Do you
actually.
tell them what ILC stands for?
Intensive Learning Center.
I know, but doesn't that sound like a
It sounds like a special school. It does.
special
It does.
school? And that we went
It
on the
does sound
very
like.
short,
But let
short
me tell you,
bus.
the ILC was in the toughest part of North Philly, so you don't. Yeah,
I think, yeah, now it's like
the
the
special part
Roberto
was actually
Clemente Middle School.
getting to school, and getting home alive. That was the special part. But
Oh,
no,
that's
seriously though, when you were talking about history, I have a friend who lives in New Jersey and
mhm.
actually the township of Swedesboro.
Okay.
And
That's where Pop Pop used to live.
the Swedesboro page, someone, and I believe the person happened to be a police officer, says something about CRT, which means that, because they are teaching the real American history, he was opposed to this. And, there's a whole bunch of comments on the page of people opposed to these kids learning like diversity
Hmm.
and taking CRT classes and learning diversity. And these are the kind of things. I mean, we do our show for laughs. We do our show for, good times and whatnot. And we don't try to get too deep. But some things we're going to have to talk about once in the blue moon, and we need more diversity, especially in the schools, to teach these kids exactly what true American history is, and maybe you'll have better adults. I'm just putting it out there like that. So that being said, let's get on with our freedom songs in our
Hmm.
list. Now, the first
Alrighty.
song I put on there at the bottom is Donald Glover, "This Is America."
Okay.
And I put that on there because there was a lot of, and if you watch the video, not so much listen to the song, but you watch the video, there was so much undertones of everything that goes on in America. And that's why I put that on there. Mind you, if you have a freedom song that we didn't get to yet, or you have a freedom song, um, you know, that
Now,
you
is
think should be
this
on our
Danny
list, let us
Glover
know.
or is it Childish Gambino? I get
It was,
confused
well,
sometimes.
in my listing it said Donald Glover. It could be
So,
Childish Gambino,
so
doesn't matter. I mean,
I mean,
but
it took me years to realize. Oh wait, they're the same person, aren't they?
yeah, they are. He's got two
But
different names.
but
It's like my name is Kenny Walker Jr., but some people call me KP and other people call me Good Looking. You can have different names. Wow, wow. Okay, okay. Moving on.
I'm
Okay, got
saying, I'm
it.
just saying, uh, you know, when you start, because you say that and you say it with such conviction that I can't
I
let it
do.
go
I know.
unanswered,
You know.
as if anybody would ever say it. But this is America, and again, talking about songs of freedom and just I guess, well, let's just get to the list because I think the
Yeah.
list kind of takes a progression from most of the songs I think are going to be a little older, and a lot
Yeah.
I think come from the 60s.
Yeah.
But one we said
Well, the
was
60s and
this is,
70s was a very good time
mhm.
for freedom songs, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And we have a lot of songs from those times. The next one is a classic, "What's Going On" by Marvin Gaye.
What's going on? Definitely. Although I have to say, and maybe that's because I was just watching. I've been binging kind of the Marvel universe, and I
Okay.
love at the end of I don't know whether is it the first Avenger or where
Oh, that
Falcon is playing
is
Trouble
no, no, no.
Man.
That's no, no.
No, that's
That's the second Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Winter
Um,
Soldier. Yeah, that's it. Winter
when he's
Soldier.
in the hospital, he's playing Trouble Man
And you
for him.
You know what? I started to call you last night. I'm sorry, I'm going off. I know we're talking freedom songs, and we'll get back to the freedom songs. There's tons of freedom songs. We have an hour. We're all good. But I started to call you last night because
Okay.
I was watching Endgame because I didn't see Endgame in the movie. I actually saw it like streaming or whatever. But okay, spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen Endgame, you know what?
Yeah.
Uh,
If somebody
hit
hasn't seen
mute. Go
Endgame by
check
now,
your
yeah.
Instagram.
If somebody hasn't seen Endgame by now, they just don't want to
Because
see it.
it's like,
I don't know.
I mean, that was 2019, right? So that's like
Yeah.
a good 2
Yeah,
years.
you're good. You're good.
And
You're
we
good.
spent a year in lockdown, so
You had time.
that should have been on your list.
You had time.
Anyway, in the funeral scene, and that's just so cool. I'm kind of curious to know whether everybody was on set or whether they kind of Photoshop people in, like
I'm pretty sure everybody was on set.
because I mean it had everybody. Like you had Peter Parker and his
Yeah.
aunt, and Hulk, and everybody who was still alive. Rather,
Marissa Tomei, who aged wonderfully. Just saying.
But they keep panning, and at one point, I think after they did the Ant-Man people, and then they pan over to Winter Soldier, Falcon, and oh no, who is Wanda is with
Vision.
no, well, Vision isn't.
Oh, that's right.
Funeral.
Vision isn't
Okay,
in that
hello.
scene. No.
Okay,
I forgot.
but I forgot who Wanda was standing next to.
I
But
forgot.
anyway,
Was she standing with Hawkeye's? No, Hawkeye was standing with his family.
Hawkeye was with his family because they were on this side. But I thought Wanda was with Winter Soldier and Vision and Falcon. But
She probably
maybe not.
was.
But it
Yeah,
seems
she
like there was
probably
somebody
was.
else. But anyway, in back of them, there was this one kid.
Yeah, that was the kid that was in Iron Man 3.
In
In Iron Man 3.
when he was in that
Yes.
like barn.
Yeah. And that little kid that helped him out, that's who that was.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, who is this dude? And
Yeah. That was a kid. That was a
I
kid from
didn't-
Iron Man 3.
And then behind him, was that? I didn't know who that other set of people was behind him.
I can't
It
remember.
was like
the
a
scene.
woman, and was it William Hurt or?
William Hurt was probably from oh man, I can't remember the scene.
Okay,
I know
I'm
William
sorry.
Hurt was
I've
probably
taken us
there
off on a
from
tangent.
William
But I
Hurt
was
was
just trying to
probably
figure
there,
out who
but
that kid was. I was
Yeah,
like,
the kid
who
was
is he? Is he a superhero? Because everybody else was.
he
with
was
the
from Iron Man
superhero.
3. He's from Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay. Because all right.
Tony
I'm sorry,
Stark probably
back to the
kept in
list.
touch with him and stuff like that and gave him money. Okay. So the next we have is look, you can't do a freedom list without having
But we did talk about Marvin Gaye. What's going on?
we did talk about what's going on.
But again, that's when I went off on that tangent.
Yes,
I
when you went
mentioned
off on
Troubled
tangent,
Man.
yes, Troubled Man.
But even so, like what's going on is just again one of those songs from the movement about freedom. But I think there was a definite through line for Marvin Gaye with songs. I think.
And the thing about it is what's going on is the kind of song that still resonates today.
But even when you think of songs like Inner City Blues and
yes,
I mean, there's just something about
and Trouble Man. These songs are still, and speaking of Trouble Man, there's a Nina Cherry version of Trouble Man that is phenomenal.
Nina Cherry, really?
There's a Nina
like
Cherry
she had
version.
Song because I would put her in the one-hit wonder.
No. There's a couple of Nina Cherry songs I know, but she has a version of Trouble Man that was on the Marvin Gaye tribute album that is phenomenal. Her version of Trouble Man, I would put it right next to Marvin's original. Matter of fact, I like it better than Marvin's original.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually,
Nina Cherry, Trouble Man. I'm telling you.
Nina Cherry, Trouble Man. We will put that on the list.
We'll put that on the list.
Everybody loves Heard It Through the Grapevine, and I get it, and I appreciate it, and I respect it. But my goodness, my favorite version is Glass Night in the Pips.
You know what my favorite version is?
What?
It's Glass Night in the Pips, but there's an album called Motown Remixes. And there's a Motown remix of Gladys Knight and the Pips singing Heard It Through the Grapevine. I'm telling you, when you hear that, you will not want to hear another version of Heard It Through the Grapevine ever.
Wow.
I
Okay.
I like test me on this. Challenge come challenge me on this. Come get some. When you hear the remix version of the Last Night of Pips, Heard It to the Grapevine, you will it's so funky and it's the beat is so like oh my god, it's so great. Um anyway, next on our list, you can't do a Freedom album without mentioning Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
And Get Up, Stand Up, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh. Get up, stand up for your rights.
Stand up.
That
And
is a
I
freedom
think he's
song.
another one kind of like Marvin Gaye, where he just, again, all of his songs had these just this vibe or this energy about it that kind of speaks to movements and speaks to freedom and just end of oppression kind of thing. Three
Yes,
Little Birds, whatever
yes,
it is.
yes. Whatever,
But
whatever you do with Bob Marley, and some of the remix, I've Turn Your Light Down Low. The remix with Lauryn Hill is phenomenal.
turn
No
your light.
Woman No Cry. The Fugees do a
Oh,
version of No Woman No Cry.
yeah.
It's really nice. Um,
Well, that's not really a
um,
freedom song, but it's just
yeah, but
classic
yeah.
and good Bob Marley. Bob
So
Marley.
the next one I put on here because it's about Martin Luther King and it's definitely a freedom song.
Early
You
morning, April 4,
yeah,
shot rings out
Pride by
in the
you two.
Memphis sky.
Pride by you two.
Pride in the name of
Um,
love. But and again, it's, I think too, and maybe uh, not all U2 songs, but there is this kind of um, like Arca songs. I know when we were talking about Prince and you were talking about some of his more religious songs, but I think too there is this kind of a spirit in U2's music that kind of hits those notes of freedom and liberation for people, and whether they're talking about, oppressive conditions here or in other countries or
yes.
even in their home Ireland.
Well,
So
Bono's always been that person who's been an advocate for freedom around the world.
yeah. So Pride in the Name of Love.
Pride in the name
You
of,
know what? We
you know,
probably should have put together a Spotify list for this for
I should, you
today's.
know what? I will put together a Spotify list for
Yeah,
freedom songs,
songs of
and it will
freedom. We
be
gotta, yeah.
available, and I'll post it on our page. It will be available for everyone tomorrow.
Okay, well, since you mentioned that, I'm going to just stop and take a minute to once again thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's Kathy and Kenny, Talk Pop Culture. We do this every Saturday night, picking different themes, talking different junk, and hopefully we stay on track and I don't take us off on a binge because I need a cartoon Marvel Universe question answered. And don't tell me about Loki because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
So
Loki is so awesome.
well,
Okay, never mind. Go
no,
ahead.
I'm going to do it like WandaVision. I'm going to wait till it's done and just kind
Really?
of binge it over a couple
I'm watching
days.
it every week. Every Wednesday I'm in. Every Wednesday I'm
I'm
in.
over weekly television.
Yeah, I'm weekly.
I'm kind of spoiled.
I'm
But in
weekly.
any case, we want to thank you guys for kind of hanging out with us. Please consider supporting the show. Buy us a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/kwalkcom comedy. And, or, hey, don't have to buy us a coffee. Just give us a thumbs up. Visit our Facebook page, Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Subscribe to us here on YouTube and like it if you like hanging out with us. We like hanging out with you. You are always welcome to call the show. You can
Yes.
call us at 704-252-8813 if you have a freedom song. We have a lot of songs on our
Yes.
list, so let's get back to
Okay,
the
so the
list.
next one is one of my favorite groups that inspired me to do spoken word, and that is the Last Poets. When the Revolution Comes,
The Last Poets. And
the
they're
Last
another
Poets.
group too that, again, you picked one song, When the Revolution Comes, and but
I picked the cleanest one I can come up with.
because The Last Poets, that was up there with like the Moms Mabley album and Red Fox album. It was those
Yeah,
albums we weren't allowed to listen to as
they were in
kids,
our
but we still
mom and dad's
snuck
record.
and
Yeah, but we
listened to.
still But that Mons Mabley cover used to scare me though. It's just because she was like
Mom's Mabley. She was
Mons
the truth.
Mabley. Yes, she was.
Um,
I'm watching Mons Mabley video later on. But
well, we
when the revolution comes, inspired one of the other songs on our list, and I'm just going to jump to it.
oh, you're
Um,
jumping around,
yeah, I'm
so
sorry.
you're not keeping up with my photo. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, no,
Jump
no, no,
around.
no. I'll keep up
Go
with
ahead.
you,
No,
bro.
no, go. No, no,
We'll get to the
no.
other
You
song. We'll
go.
get
You do you, boo. Do you?
okay. That inspired Gil Scott Heron's "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised,"
The revolution will not be
which is also
televised.
on our list.
It is on our
Um,
list.
which
Gil
is
Scott Heron. He
which
passed away recently.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Which also inspired which is not as popular, not as known, but on my album I put a song on my album called What Happened to the Revolution.
What happened to the
What
revolution?
happened to the revolution?
And and
Yeah.
and and that is from Kenny's album Throwing Paper. You just
Throwing
got to
paper,
get that
yeah.
plug in there.
I gotta get that plug in there. But no, no, no. I'm not trying to get the plug in, but it's a
I mean, I can
it's a
play the plug if you
transgression.
want.
No, don't play the plug. Don't play the plug. Don't play the plug. Let's get on with our list.
Let's get on with
Um
the list.
The next song is a recent
Oh,
song, actually, one of our recent
recent
songs,
and an
which is
Oscar-winning song, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
yes, which is "Glory" from John Legend and Common.
Mm-hmm. And that was from the motion picture Selma.
So yes,
Correct.
that was from the
Not
motion
the
picture.
picture
Selma.
Glory, because
No,
that give away
not the motion picture Glory, but the motion picture Selma.
Selma.
The next one on our list is "The Impressions."
The Impressions.
People get
People get
ready,
ready.
which is a great song. From what is that? I didn't have a date for that one. I think it was like pretty much the
Oh, we don't have
late
that tonight,
'60s
so
or the
I guess
'70s, early '70s when people get ready.
people get ready. There's a
And
train that's coming.
the next one we have on the list is
Say it loud.
James Brown. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud. Now, here's the thing about James Brown, though. Um, I remember watching the movie Get On Up with Chadwick Boseman and Boseman. I'm sorry, Boseman. And I like the scene where they had them filming this song, and he had all the kids in there, singing the song. But James Brown was one of those guys who did a lot of civil rights things. See, and that's the thing. He's one of those people in the '60s who did a lot of civil rights things,
Hmm.
and
You know,
spoke for Black Power a lot.
and you don't have her on here, but I would put Aretha Franklin in that, excuse me, in that list as well. And and again, as far as performers, there were a lot of performers who did things, and they might not have been so upfront or so prominent.
Yeah.
Even people like Frank Sinatra, you don't have a necessarily a song, a freedom song or movement song from him, but again, doing things behind the scene. Harry Belafonte,
Yes,
just a
Harry
bunch of
Belafonte,
performers.
and
And
there's a lot of times when I've heard stories, I've read articles about Sam Cooke and Aretha Franklin doing things for the civil rights movement that nobody knew they did. Just as a lot of artists, because a lot of artists make fun of Michael Jackson for his skin change and the
hmm
tone of his skin, but no one realizes how much money he actually donated to the NAACP and to different like college funds for the NAACP and stuff. So, and he was very prominent about the black culture being represented in America. Michael Jackson was, so he wasn't ashamed of being black at all. So let's get that thought out of our heads.
don't get it twisted.
And don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. The next one is is a favorite song of mine. And it was featured in the movie School Days.
Bass, how
Not
low
School
can
Days.
you go?
It was featured in the movie
Sorry.
oh man, Do the Right Thing.
Do the right thing.
Fight the Power, Public Enemy. Fight the power.
Fight the power that be. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Radio
I'm sorry.
Raheem.
We're violating
Yeah,
this.
yeah. We're violating Radio Raheem and his 10D batteries.
You know, I didn't know he passed away too.
Yes, he
You
passed
know
away. Bill
what's
Nunn.
scary too to think, like the 80s are disappearing before our eyes. There's no Prince, no Michael, no Whitney, no George Michael,
No Rick
no
James. No George Mike. No.
no Tina, no
There's no Bowie. No, well,
no
Tina
Bo.
Marie. There's Tina Turner, but there's no Tina Marie.
Yeah, it's
There's no
Tina Turner, but no
Bowie.
Tina Marie.
There's no Freddie Mercury. There's no nothing from the this.
Wow.
The '80s came and gone, and we're stuck. We're still stuck with Rick Springfield. Not Rick
Hey,
Springfield.
hey, hey, hey! Watch it, watch it, watch it. Hey, Archer in the house. Thanks for stopping by. Nerd
Thanks, Archer.
affiliated.
Thanks, hey,
the
Archer.
symbol.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Archer, I caught the last 2 minutes of your show Thursday because I was in the middle of something, and I said, "Let me get it," and it took the whole hour, and I said, "Let me try to get," and then as soon as I logged on, your show was over.
But if you can check out Hey Archer, he's Thursday nights
Yes.
at 8 o'clock Eastern on YouTube and nerding out previews. And actually, you weren't on Thursday, Kenny, but we were playing either or, and I nailed it every single time. I was
Oh,
just that on
really?
it.
Really?
Yes,
See, now I probably would have
yes.
killed that. I probably would have killed it.
So, okay, go on with the list and stop disparaging Rick Springfield because, hey, Jesse's Girl is a classic.
Yes,
Thank you,
Jesse's girl.
Dion.
See, thank you, Dion. Because I wish I had
It's
Jesse's
not a
girl.
freedom song, but it's a
Yeah,
good
it's
song.
not a freedom song.
Well, it's
So we
freedom
already
if
mentioned
you're getting
Revolution of the
liberated
Life.
from a bad
Okay, so we
relationship.
have another Bob Marley song here, the Redemption song by
The
Bob Marley.
Redemption song, another
Yes, the
Bob
Redemption song
Marley.
by Bob Marley is next. And after that, we go to the Staple Singers.
Oh, the Staple Singers, yes.
I'll Take You There,
I'll take you there. Mm.
which was a song I used to do with one of my bands. We used to cover that. I'll Take You There, and I had a little spoken word piece in the middle of the thing. But yeah, we covered I'll Take You There. Um, we also covered What's Going On too in that band too. But I'll Take You There. Because I know a place where ain't nobody crying. And
Um,
I'll take you there.
well, hey, respect yourself too. I
Yeah,
think that
respect
was part
yourself.
of the movement as well.
Yes. Yes. And
Oh,
and now we're gonna move on to the Nina Simone version of To Be Young, Gifted, and Black.
yes.
And Nina Simone was such oh I think Nina Simone is one of the most underrated singers in the industry for her time because some of the things she did was just phenomenal.
Mm.
Um I love my baby. Um, her version of my baby don't, my baby don't. I
Um,
forget. You know,
I
you
know
know the song about.
most people know the New Day song. Is a
Yes,
new day.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Or
I'll
four
buzz
or four
myself.
women or four women.
Mm.
Most people know
But
four women, but Nina
but yes,
Simone
indeed, Nina
was one of that person.
Simone.
Okay, so now we're getting to like the good stuff. Well, everything on our list is the good stuff,
Well,
but
there is a lot of good
these last
stuff.
couple of
Yes.
songs here, um, we're going to talk about "Strange Fruit"
Mm.
by Billie Holiday. If you saw United States versus Billie Holiday, you know how much trouble this song caused her.
Cost. Oh yes.
She was banned a lot of places from singing this song because of the message that it represented. Because once again, people didn't want to know that Black history. People didn't want to know that other side of American history. And there is another side of American history. And this song, um,
And can it? And again, I hear what you're saying, and we talk about it, and I think the whole I guess American experiment is that America is supposed to be this kind of melting pot and all these different races and cultures, and we can kind of see it from perspective of our ancestors of being black in America and how our stories aren't always told, and how the oppression and just different things have affected us again generationally. But imagine some of the other cultures for Native Americans whose stories don't get told or don't get taught, or either are kind of like misrepresented or haven't been fully told as well. I can't help but think about that as well. And even for other other groups coming into this country, how things are told and how stories are told. It I don't know whether we're all fully aware of everybody's struggle. I'm just saying.
No,
But
we're
go
not.
ahead. Keep talking about
We,
strange
yeah,
fruit.
yeah, we're not fully aware of everyone's struggle in America, and American history is comprised of everyone's struggle.
Mm-mm.
That is American history. So when you can't talk about American history without talking about the Native American. You can't talk about American history without talking about the Black American. You can't talk about American history without talking about the Latino American, especially if you're talking about the Western and Southern states on where a lot of Latino people were originally. So
And here, and again, to provide some insight and some direction, Dion is letting us know that Chase Iron Eyes talks about that very thing on his podcast, Cut to the Chase. That is one of the beauties of podcasts, is that people get a chance to tell their stories. So you get to hear and you do get to learn a lot through podcasts. I know um, I do a lot of audiobooks and also podcasts just to learn and to be exposed to a little more. But again, Strange Fruit, Billie Holiday, and yes, I think Dion said before she had this beautiful hypnotic voice, and to me that
yes.
just seems, and again, if you saw United States versus Billie Holiday, you saw a little bit of the pain behind that, but it's all always so, I don't know, sad and tragic. Just the idea that sometimes the folks with the greatest amount of talent and the greatest amount of beauty to share through their art are so torn and tortured,
Yes.
and have it, that it comes out of a place of such pain,
Mhm.
which I mean, there's any number of stories. I think I was looking at a post on Twitter the other day talking about the 10th anniversary of like Amy
Winehouse.
Winehouse, right? The 10th, this child died at like 27, but again, the drugs, the alcohol, the pain that she was living in, but yet having this beautiful voice and this beautiful gift, and that's the same thing I think about when I think about people like Billie Holiday, or even Dinah Washington. Just that that they've had to live with, you know, just pain,
And,
and yet still have this
here's the thing you have to
talent
understand
and this
about.
gift.
Here's the thing you have to understand about the song "Strange Fruit."
Hmm.
The song "Strange Fruit" was not written by a person of color. The
Oh
song
wow.
"Strange Fruit" was written by a Jewish American
Mm,
named Abel Mirapol.
okay.
And he wrote Strange Fruit, I believe, in 37, and Billie Holiday recorded it in 39,
Hmm.
1939, 1937, 1939. But Strange Fruit wasn't even written by Strange Fruit. I think what makes that song so powerful is that it was written by someone else who was not of color, looking in on a situation and from their perspective and trying to write it from a person of color. And then Billie Holiday kind of delivered that as a person of color.
Hmm.
But even back in those days, and these are the 30s, and I'm sure Maripol was probably referred to as a communist back in those days, because whenever you didn't think of, the standard American way, you were thought of as a communist.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's what they thought he was, because he wrote this song. But the thing of it is that America didn't like Billie Holiday singing this song,
Mm.
because to them it would incite the masses, because you were telling a story and you were letting America hear a story that was happening in their own backyard. But some people, didn't witness, because they weren't part of that culture to witness that. So that's the story of Strange Fruit. But yeah, and Billie Holiday is a woman who had a very tragic life and very tragic story. But if you watch the movie, USA versus Billie Holiday, you can see there were times that she wanted to quit. She wanted to stop her drug habit, but they wouldn't let her, because that was the only way they look. Like they said in the beginning of the movie, and I'm pretty sure that's probably true. Look, we can't stop her from singing the song. We can't arrest her for singing the song, but we can arrest her for her drug habit. So let's keep her on her drug habit, so we can arrest her and
To keep her from singing the song.
yeah, and degrade her name to make her, less, you know, less favorable to everybody if they
Or
knew
a
she was a
less
drug.
yeah, less potent force
Yes.
that what she was singing. And if you think
Y-
the imagery in this song, Strange Fruit, when you think of fruit, if you're thinking about, like, orange trees, lemon tree, like, the fruit that you pluck from a tree, but this strange fruit was actually the people being lynched. And again, as another way of oppression, and that whole denial of freedom was in the lynchings. And by the same token, by trying to suppress her to keep her from singing this song,
Yes.
was a way of kind of encroaching on her freedoms as well.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
wow.
So that's Strange Fruit. We're going to move
Mm.
on to our next song, because we do
Ah,
have a few more left. Someday a change is going to come, which
and
a lot of
this
people
one was
know,
featured. Yeah. Okay. Ahead.
which a lot of people know, from, former President Obama using this and his election.
It was
Um,
also featured at the end of the movie, the Spike Lee movie, Malcolm X.
yes, and it was also featured in One Night in Miami,
Mm.
the
One Night in Miami.
movie, about is a fictitious movie about Sam Cooke,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Jim Brown, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali spending a night in Miami that really didn't happen, but if it did happen, this is how it would turn out. And Malcolm X telling in the movie, Malcolm X telling Sam Cooke, "You have a voice." And I seen you control a crowd before, and people will listen to you. And I wish you use it for something more than just pop songs. And then at the end of the movie, you see Sam Cooke singing "Someday a Change is Going to Come," which is a very powerful song and a freedom song and Black history, and since it came out in the '60s and Black movement, so it came out in '64. But it's a very powerful song. Someday a change is going to come, because that's a freedom song saying that one day, throughout our struggle, things are going to change. At some point, it can't stay like this at all times. We're still, to this day in 2021, seeking some sort of freedom. Someday a change is going to come.
All right.
So that's
Powerful.
that song. Yes, yes, very powerful song. Now
And
the
like I
next song,
said at the top of the story, as we move on with the list, those songs of freedom, that there are tons of them, and we are just picking out a few to share with you guys on this edition of Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Um, we're not the most comprehensive list. We
Yes.
just worked to come up with a list to kind of share with you to get the dialogue started, to have a conversation and hopefully introduce you to maybe some songs or even some artists you might not have had a chance to experience. What we are going to do is get a Spotify list of these songs, and when Kenny gives me that link, we're going to link it in the description of this video. If you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, as well as on our Facebook page, we'll put a link to that. If you haven't joined us on Facebook, we are on Facebook, Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. I think if you actually go to the Google machine and actually Google Kathy and Kenny, we come up. Have you
Really?
tried that?
No, I
Have you
have not
Googled
tried that.
yourself ever?
I need to Google. I'm gonna Google myself right now and see what happens.
Well, you know what? Let me. Let's give it a try. Let's Google ourselves. Is that narcissistic?
Yes, it is, but
It
I'm okay with
is.
it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Okay, let's go Google ourselves. So hopefully you can see my new tab. I'm going to Google Kathy and Kenny, and watch we don't come up just because I said that. And it's not us. People named Kathy and Kenny on Facebook that would come up. We don't come up. I guess we don't. Oh, you know what? Let's add pop culture and see if we come up. Let's add pop culture with a K and see if we come up. Now we come up. So Kathy Kenny, pop culture, and boom, we come up.
Yes, we come out. I put it. Kathy and Kenny explain pop culture on my Google list, and we came up
And we
right
come
away.
up.
We
And
come
we
up right
come
away.
up
We are
all
like the
kinds of
first
ways.
one, two,
Oh,
three,
look at us.
four,
If you click
five,
on image, it's all our thumbnails. That's
six.
pretty
Yeah. Oh
cool.
yeah. Wow. Seven,
Or if
eight.
you click video, we come up.
Yep. We come up. Yeah. Hey, we are coming
Hey,
up. Coming
hey,
up like a
like a
flower.
flower
Coming
coming
up.
up. Okay, we are off on a tangent, so let's get back
Okay.
to the list.
Okay. The next one. I didn't have a. I don't know who wrote this song. But I put on "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot"
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry
to
me
carry me
home.
home.
But now, was that one of those songs like "Wade in the Water" that was giving messages and giving,
Yes, I think it
letting
was.
slaves know,
I think
okay,
I think I could. It could have been.
it's
It
it's
could have
time.
been.
The railroad's coming through. If Harriet,
Yeah.
if
Dawn says we're showing up. Yes.
showing up, hey, see, there you
Thank you,
go.
Dawn. Thank you, Dawn.
So
Showing up.
that's one of the songs where again, if they needed instructions and the slaves and again, slave owners, the masters is like, oh, our happy field month, they
No,
just singing, and
they're just singing
meanwhile they
out
giving
there.
instructions like, okay, you know what, you better be by the river at midnight because hey, time to go.
Could you imagine? Rest in peace to DMX. Would you imagine if he was a slave back then? Take a turn to the right at the tree by the light.
Or no, who sings that left foot stomp, that right
Oh yeah,
foot
yeah,
stomp?
yeah. What is that,
Everybody,
Mister
clap your hands.
Mister C? Yeah,
So, so yeah. So if they had to give like instructions for the Underground Railroad in one of those call and response kind of,
yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, let's get serious because we got two more songs to talk about when we talk about our songs of
Okay,
freedom, and
okay. And the next one we have is "We Shall Overcome,"
we shall
which
overcome.
is which is a song that was sung a lot during the civil rights movement. Um, it was a
It
song that
was a
was sung.
movement, not just a moment.
Yes, it's a movement. Civil rights movement. It's a song that's still sung today, like Black Lives Matter rallies and everything. Like "We
Well,
Shall
even
Overcome."
in North Carolina, for like at least a good, I don't know how many years, 10, 15 years that I've been here, we've been doing what's called HK on J, historic thousands on J Street, marching in the capital here of North Carolina for different things. And I know a lot of times as we are walking, just that short trip up to the Capitol for usually rallies and different speeches. led by people like the Reverend Dr. Barber, who was the former president of the North Carolina chapter of the NAACP. But songs like this, "We Shall Overcome," "Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around," just again, we're part of the chants of the day as we, again, just fueled off that energy to go kind of again fight some of the different forms of oppression that still kind of exists within the legal world today. So
Yes.
freedom ain't free. You got to
Freedom
get
ain't
up,
free.
sing, shout, and do what you got to do to make sure you are heard.
Yes. And the last song of the night on our list, and if you have another song, please put it in the comments or call us up. Let us know. We have like 5 minutes left. But a very classic song made in 1900 by John and James Johnson, "Lift Every Voice and Sing," which is kind of considered like a black national anthem.
The
But
Negro National
the Negro
Anthem,
national anthem, "Lift Every Voice and Sing."
which, and again, being a member of the NAACP and in this local chapter, and an officer here in North Carolina, which, by the way, if you're in the Statesville area, we have our meeting second Sunday of the month, which is tomorrow, I believe. In any case, every event that we've held at uh, NAACP usually would include the singing of "Lift Every Voice and Sing," and it's always funny because everybody knows the first verse.
Yes. Nobody
They get
knows any other verse besides that.
"Stony
I
the
don't
road
know.
we trod."
Yeah, I
They
don't
get
know
a
the
little
other verse.
shaky on that second verse.
I'm the guy in the back moving his mouth on
Oh,
the
that's
second verse.
shameful,
Yeah, it's very
shameful
shameful. But I
to
am the
hear
guy in the
know the
back moving his mouth.
lyrics.
I don't know none past that. If you don't put them in front of me, yeah, I'm that guy. I don't know all the words to
Well,
their voice to
again,
say.
and it doesn't matter because nobody sings it in key anyway. It's
Yeah,
always
no,
ooh.
no. Yeah, it's always ooh, because you always got that one person in
It's
there that think they know how to sing in key, and they try ah. No, 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 no,
no,
no, no, no, no.
it's that high as the
Yeah, yeah.
glistening skies line that gets
Yeah,
the.
yeah, eyes glistening skyline, and they go all out on it. And we're not trying to wake the
And then they
slaves; we're
can't
trying
come
to
back
honor the
down for the
slaves. Yeah,
sing
no,
a song. Yeah, okay.
you know,
But yeah, "Lift Every Voice and Sing" was, I guess,
by
the
John and James Johnson in 1900 that was written, which is considered a Negro national anthem.
yes, Dawn. See, we all can't be singing nurses, so we don't have those skills. So yeah, lip
Yeah,
syncing
yeah,
is going
we
to
lip
be the
sync. Yeah,
key.
we're gonna have to lip sync that, Dawn. Don't hate on us. Don't judge.
Don't judge. No, it's a show with talking, not with
Yes,
singing.
yeah, yeah.
So
When I do sing, when I had to sing with my bands, I always had this Mick Jagger approach to singing. Whereas I really don't have to sound good, I just have to have a good stage presence.
okay.
That was my whole thing in singing. I would have to sing a certain songs, but I really didn't sound good, but I had great stage presence. And I
Or
would
so
like,
you think.
yeah, I know I did. I know I did. I would do things with my mic because I was at an open mic one time and the guy running the open mic, him and his band, they got mad at me and he kept changing my sound and everything. And at one point he's like, "Yeah, watch the way you move that mic there, Prince," because I would move my mic around and stuff. He was kind of hot.
Okay. All right. So again, we thank you guys for hanging out with us as we share some songs of freedom. As we again remind you that Juneteenth is, when is it? It's next
19th. Next
Saturday,
Saturday.
June
Next Saturday.
19th.
But we're gonna do our on Saturday night, we're gonna do our Father's Day. You know we should focus on for Father's Day
I
as
don't
a
know, what should
theme.
we focus on for
I
Father's Day?
think
Why don't we
as a
ask in the comments?
we should ask
Because
in the comments.
I mean,
But I
you could come up with something and I could say, "Oh, that's great," and we can do it, but then who are we serving? So why not in the comments? Father's Day, should we focus on There's not too many songs
Well,
about dads.
well,
We did that last year, I think.
there's a new hashtag,
New hashtag.
especially since we lost Kobe Bryant. I think we should focus on girl dads.
Girl dads. That that is so niche. That is just specific to you.
I
How
know,
is
but it's a big hashtag right now. Girl dad is a big hashtag.
there you go. And our father's letting us know that everybody he knows who in North Carolina who has attended an HBCU, which I was surprised I actually had to tell an adult what an HBCU is. And if you are
Nah,
listening and you don't know,
you did not have to
it's
tell an adult what HBCU is. There's no way.
an adult in education,
I
which that was
refuse to believe
scary.
that. I refuse to believe that.
I do not lie. I well, I've talked to educators here in North Carolina who actually thought the Underground Railroad was a physical railroad. So, like, didn't understand the concept of it being all these series of safe houses and places that kind of harbored slaves as they made their way up north, but they actually thought it was a physical railroad. All right. Oh, Ed Brown is in the house.
Ed,
With
what's
my
up, Ed?
songs like "It's My Life," "Talk Talk Shout." Oh yeah, well, freedom. And again, we were kind of focusing on I don't know, because I thought of Freedom too. Although you have Freedom by Wham, I was thinking about Freedom 90 by George Michael.
Yeah, Freedom 90 by George Michael.
But we were trying to, I guess, highlight some of the songs that were part of the struggle of America's, I guess, history with slavery and freedom. So that's why we came up with some of the songs
Yeah. We're
on
talking
that
about
Black
songs related to Juneteenth and things like that.
Juneteenth. And next Saturday, I guess we'll talk dads. I don't know whether it's because last year we talked TV dads, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
for
we did. We
Father's
taught
Day.
TV dads last
Okay.
year. And
Or
this year,
should we do movie dads like Daddy Daycare?
mm,
Because you want to do girl dads,
I
but I'm
want to do
like,
girl
that's just
dads.
you. I'm
I
like,
want to do girl dads. Somebody weigh in on this. Should we do girl dad?
like, no, and nobody's weighing in.
Nobody's weighing
Well,
in
we'll
on
we'll
my.
do we'll do dads of all stripes and
Thank you for leaving
sorts.
me hanging. Thank you for leaving me hanging.
You just gonna leave me hanging?
Just gonna leave me hanging.
Well, we won't leave you hanging, but we will leave you with this. Thank you so much for being a part of our Saturday night. We appreciate you so much and appreciate the fact that you tune in, you hang out, and that's pretty cool. You are pop culture kids, each and every one of you. Yeah, see, that's what I was
Yes.
thinking. Songs about fatherhood,
Okay,
because
we
it
can
was
find.
weird. Because I heard I always love my mama the other day, and I'm like, there's no the songs about fatherhood are not as upbeat and as I always love my mama. It's all this positive, but for dads, what is there? Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
This song's so depressing. It's really.
And when he
It
died,
starts
all he
off
left us
saying,
was
"Hey,
alone. It was the 3rd of
my daddy
September.
died," and I'm like, and then it turns
But
out
there are
dad
songs
wasn't
about
there.
dads because, I mean, you know what song I heard the other day that start off about a dad?
Yeah,
Um,
Dawn wants to know what is a
I
girl
heard
dad.
I heard Patches the other day.
Patches. Oh my goodness.
I was in
Patches
a
by
comic book
Clarence
store.
Carter. That is just the
I was in my comic book.
saddest
Yeah, I
song.
was in my comic book store, and Patches came on, and me and my comic book guy that owns the store, Bill, who is a great guy. If you're ever in South Jersey, Frankenstein Comics, go by, check out Bill. Tell him Kenny Walker sent you. He's a great guy. He's great stories. But we were sitting there singing Patches because it came on. And I said, man, this is the most depressing song. He goes, oh, it's like, I'm like, yeah, dude, his dad died, the crops burned away, then his mom died, he had to raise all the
Well,
kids, and oh my
whether
God.
it's through music, through TV, or movies, we are going to find a way to focus on some pop culture dads next week. We hope you will join us and hang out with us.
When Beneath My Wings is not a song about dads, is it?
Is that a?
No, Ed.
It was about. Well, did she write it for her dad? She
Did she
might have.
originally? I gotta find that out because I don't think
I
that's
mean,
in the
I know the
movie. That was
wasn't,
that. Yeah, that wasn't about
but
dads at all. There wasn't even there barely any men in the movie. Okay.
all right, but that'll be next week. We hope you can join us again. It's Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. We're here every Saturday night, 8:30 to 9:30, as we break down, talk about whatever in pop culture. Please
Yes.
join us. We'll be talking about dads in some form, whether it's
Yes.
girl dads or dads with girls. So what if you're not a dad? If you had all boys, that doesn't make you a valid dad.
No, it's not what it is. It's just like the I think the cuteness now in it now is like dads who are good to the girls because these are dads that are showing women that there are good men out there, and these are the kind of men that you should be looking for when grow up.
All right. I
That's
hear you. Hey, Dawn, thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, Archer, thanks for stopping by. Cousin
yes,
Lisa, we appreciate you as well as our dad. Thanks for hanging out. Ed Brown, as always, the tops in pop culture kids. You guys
yes,
are so awesome. We
yeah.
appreciate you. We will see you guys next Saturday.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.